Chapter 1. Crazy Killing, Supreme Blessing. You are listening at FameTV.info. Chapter 1. Crazy Killing, Supreme Blessing. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios, Dragon City No. 1 Middle School, Rooftop. The class bell rang, but Link didn't return to the classroom. In his hand, he held a half-human long Tang Dynasty blade, which had a sharp blade and a beautiful scabbard. This blade cost almost all his savings, but his heart didn't feel even the slightest pain for the loss of money because he knew that the Doomsday game would descend in a few minutes, and all current currencies would become worthless. When that moment came, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. All the terrifying natural disasters that had a name seemed to have made an agreement to occur on the Blue Star at the same time. At that moment, the entire Blue Star's death toll would exceed 1 billion. This also was just the beginning, the more terrifying part had yet to come. Space itself would tear apart, and a large number of monsters from different worlds, abysses, and hells poured out from the void. They were extremely powerful, brutal, and savage. They also fed on humans. The high-tech weapons and scientific civilization that mankind was proud of were almost useless against them. The order and civilization that belonged exclusively to the humans on Blue Star were destroyed in an instant. And he, Link from 10 years in the future, had been reborn to this point of time. It's almost here. 5 minutes left. Link was wiping the Tang blade. He raised his wrist and looked at the time, his drooping eyes as calm as a quiet lake. But hidden in the depths of this calmness were his endless, turbulent emotions. He muttered softly, "In this lifetime, I will definitely stand at the pinnacle of the world." The world in front of him was still as harmonious as before. The sky was spotless, and the white clouds drifted lazily. In the empty campus, he could clearly hear readings in some classrooms. On the street further away, pedestrians chatted happily, talking and laughing. The spacious roads were full of traffic. The surrounding buildings were tall and magnificent, and the charm of the modern city could be seen at a glance. At this moment, no one knew that there was a young man holding a Tang blade on Dragon City No. 1 Middle School's rooftop. He was counting down to the world's doomsday. 30, 20, 10, 9. Link raised his head, a rare look of greed and nostalgia appearing in his eyes. It was as if he was imprinting the peaceful scene in front of him deep into his mind. Link then drew the blade out from its scabbard and turned around, entering the stairway and disappearing from the rooftop. Almost at the same second Link left the rooftop, the whole world suddenly dimmed. Boom. Thunderous lightning that resounded across the sky suddenly appeared. On Blue Star, the hearts of all human beings trembled at this moment. What's the matter? Is it going to rain? It was sunny just now. Why is the sky so gloomy suddenly? In a certain classroom, the students sitting by the window were taken aback and looked up at the sky in confusion. A bad premonition gradually emerged in everyone's heart. Suddenly, faint black cracks seemed to appear in the air. The cracks gradually spread out, crazily expanding like a black spider web. Roar. A cold, low, dull roar came out from the crack, making those who heard it start to panic. What's that? A young female teacher's face paled. Her mouth opened slightly, and her pupils were full of shock. While pointing out the window, the textbook in her hand fell directly to the ground as her lips trembled. The students followed her gaze, and they were instantly transfixed by the sight. A decaying skull stuck to the window, and the hollow eye holes glowed with a green light. The corners of its mouth curved upwards as if it was sneering. Ah! Ghost. The next moment, chaotic screams resounded through Dragon City No. 1 Middle School's classrooms. Panic spread, and everyone was in fear. Link walked out of the teaching building through the stairway. He looked up at the sky, his eyes deep and profound. The school became chaotic, students began leaving their classrooms and ran around randomly. Ah! A boy was caught by a skeleton, pushed him into the ground, and directly stepped on him. The boy's spine was broken, and he vomited out mouthfuls of blood. His body trembled uncontrollably from the pain. Some people were grabbed by several skeletons at the same time and torn into pieces. Their internal organs fell to the ground, and blood splattered everywhere. However, this only added to the skeletons' sense of brutality. More and more skeletons appeared on the school's campus. They seemed to appear out of thin air, and there was an endless amount of them. Everyone was running away, screaming, asking for help, and roaring. Link had zero psychological fluctuations at all when faced with this scene. He had seen disasters thousands of times more terrifying than the current scene. He was used to it. The current sight was just child's play to him. With unwavering eyes, he walked towards the nearest skeleton. His surroundings were very chaotic, so nobody took notice of him. The skeleton was pressing a girl under its body, slapping her head again and again with its rotten palm. It was bloody and cruel. It noticed Link approaching and raised its head, roaring at him. It seemed that it was trying to scare away this seemingly weak creature. Link remained unmoved and continued to approach the skeleton. The skeleton was angered and gave up on hitting the girl. It stood up and sprinted toward Link. It then swung its large palm toward him. If this slap hit, Link's head would probably be smashed flat. Link didn't seem to notice it. There were still no traces of any fluctuation in his eyes. Just when the skeleton's palm was about to reach him, his head tilted, nicely dodging the attack. The skeleton was dazed. It didn't expect that this weak human could actually dodge its attack. It was about to launch a second attack when it suddenly noticed that the human in front of it had moved. Link took a step forward. The tang blade in his hand drew a straight line in the air and directly pierced through the skeleton's eye at a speed that the skeleton could hardly react to. Chi. The skeleton instantly stiffened. The green flame in its eyes suddenly trembled, then gradually extinguished. At the same time, a pleasant voice sounded in Link's mind. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 1. Sang. Link swiftly pulled the tang blade out from the skeleton's body. The skeleton's body collapsed and didn't move any longer. Link didn't look at it. He turned around and walked towards the next skeleton. This level of trash wasn't worth wasting even a little more of his time. His memories of his previous life told him that one could awaken a talent by killing a certain number of dark creatures within the first hour of the Doomsday. The more he killed, the stronger the awakened talent. Skeleton soldiers were just an appetizer for the Doomsday. Their weakness was very obvious. To kill one just needed to extinguish the green soul fire in its head. It was just that people currently didn't know this yet. Even though his current body had little strength, it didn't take Link much effort to kill a skeleton soldier since he had lots of combat experience from his previous life. He only needed to attack with the blade once to kill a skeleton swiftly and cleanly. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 10. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 36. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 309. In just 10 minutes, the number of skeleton soldiers Link killed reached an alarming 309. The skeleton soldiers that everyone else in his school was afraid of and running away from were like Chinese cabbage in front of Link. He never needed a second slash. His combat experience was too rich, almost forming a conditioned reflex. In his eyes, the skeleton soldiers' actions were like children playing around. Link could predict the actions they would make in the next second with his eyes closed. He continued forward, chasing down the skeletons and killing them. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 647. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP +1. Current total kills 951. Ding. Successfully killed skeleton soldier +1. Gained EXP plus 1. Current total kills. 1,814, 1 hour later. When Link's forehead began to show sweat, a sweet voice finally appeared. Ding. The elimination is over. The survivors are officially qualified for the Doomsday online game. Ding. It is detected that you have achieved excellent results in the elimination trial. You have killed 1,814 skeleton soldiers, and you are rewarded the SSS talent. Supreme Blessing. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.com, direct link in the description.